If you're able to identify that this particular thing is at the point of inflection, that is your moment. AI will remove and eliminate the task constraints. It will not eliminate the job. You'll still need people to work along with the agents. You'll still need people to govern the automation. In next 6 to 9 months, you'll see that everybody will look up to becoming AI native. DSW is here for a cause. It's not just another AI company. Ultimately, cause is to break the luxury of AI and to build AI in a way that it touches human life for betterment. So that's the DSW.
AI operating system built in India.
Built in India.
For globe.
For the globe.
Hello and welcome to TYS Tell Your Story. I'm Vigya Gupta, and this is a space where we go beyond designations and discover the journeys that shape leaders, innovators, and changemakers. Artificial intelligence has become one of the most talked about technologies of our time. But behind every breakthrough in technology is someone asking a much bigger question. Not just what can AI do, but what should AI do? Today's guest has spent nearly 3 decades helping enterprises embrace technology with purpose. Mr. Sandeep Khuperkar is the founder and CEO of Data Science Wizards. Together with co-founders Pritesh Tiwari, Shivam Thakkar, and Sandhya Oza, he's building Unify AI OS operating system, helping enterprises adopt AI securely, responsibly, and at scale. With leadership experience across IBM, Red Hat, NGINX, Sandeep brings deep expertise in enterprise technology, open source innovation, and AI adoption. Sandeep, welcome to Tell Your Story.
Thank you very much, Vigya. Thank you very much for having me here today.
Absolutely pleasure. So Sandeep, before we dive into AI, can you just tell us about yourself? Like, you have spent 25 years in the leadership roles, okay? And how does suddenly take a plunge in being a founder? How does this happen?
Okay, so, this years what I have spent, these are more than career for me. It's a life progression for me. When we are young, we always imagine that our conscious choices will shape our life. But eventually when we progress through the life, it's more of the experiences, what makes us, and that impacts our life. So when I look back, my journey, it's not a technology journey alone. It's what I experienced is every moment in that phase, something new was happening, something new was changing. And we always thought, this is it. This is the best era. This is the best technology. If you see from, 20 years back, we thought software will change everything.
Right.
Then came internet. We thought it will change everything.
It did.
It is. And then cloud came, and now AI. And all these phases, they have changed. They have made an impact, not only on our personal lives, but the way industry progressed forward. And the same thing is happening with AI. But eventually, if you'll see what is happening, all those things becomes part of regular business as usual. Today, you don't think about internet.
Right.
You use things. You don't think about electricity. When it got innovated, it was a great invention. It was the thing. But today, you don't think about electricity. It's there, certainly. You don't think about cloud today. It's there. You are operating on top of that. And that is a point, we saw that AI is going to happen. It is going to be the core part of the way we behave, the way we consume, the way we manufacture, the way we, run our processes.
Correct.
And that's the inflection point we are at with AI. And this is something we realized 4 years back and, thought that this is something we should embark upon, not to start a company, but to bring that change. And we are happy to do that. And, that's the founder journey. That's how founder journey began with. And one more thing I would like to add here. I used to always think innovation is something to build new. But as I progressed in my life journey, I realized that it's not about creating something new, but it's something, which is already there, but somebody looks at it in a very different way.
Correct. Different perspective.
Everybody is seeing that. but somebody picks it up and see it in a different way, and that becomes kind of discovery. We name it as an innovation because everything is already there, and that's what we saw when we started thinking about operating system. And when we started talking about this, nobody believed it. Nobody was able to think about it in that way. But that's the journey we are doing, and now we are seeing that eventually shift is happening.
At what point did you realize that no, as an OS, AI as an OS, because every brand, every little brand, they want to be associated with AI these days. They
Yeah.
want that tag that
Yeah.
created with AI or inspired by AI or done with AI. But you are thinking inside out. Like when we say OS of an AI, how did that come about?
So it was not an overnight decision, or it was not an eureka moment kind of thing. It went through a journey, and the way it happened is, so before getting to here, the context is that every time in the life progression, I have seen that there is something which comes to an inflection point. And if you are able to identify that the particular thing is at an inflection point, but many people miss out, they just go through the journey. If you're able to identify that this particular thing is at the point of inflection, that is your moment. Because that is where you start enjoying getting into that, contributing towards that, and building it ahead of the time. So every time in my career or in my life, somehow I was able to identify for myself an inflection point.
Oh, wow.
And that was my moment. I never decided my moment that this is something which is glamorous, or this is something which is fashionable, or this is something big thing I should do. This is the race of startup, I should start up. No. Unless and until that point comes to me, that moment doesn't arrive for me. And the same thing happened for AI. In 2019, when we were doing a little bit hands-on on machine learning projects, I realized that there will be a lot of barriers what enterprises are going to face in terms of adopting AI, not just building AI. And this thought was way ahead of time at that point of time in 2019, when people were busy experimenting with machine learning models. It's not that I was expert, but that was the thought that while we build this, how this adoption is going to happen. And because I came from a background where I was a part of early core team of Red Hat in 2000s, we are instrumental in seeing how operating system got built. This thought started shaping up. And that was the journey we started doing, from tools to framework to platform. Today we are at the beginning of the journey of operating system. One thing I would like to mention here categorically is that when inflection point arrives, there are two choices for you. Either you pass through that and continue your journey, or you take a step forward and contribute into that. So my founder's journey and that moment was just taking a step forward, nothing else. I just took a step forward and decided to contribute towards that point. That's how it happened.
Why OS? Like they could be softwares. You come from IBM background, you come from Red Hat. I get it. OS is there. But how did this synergy happen? Okay. And also while we are at it, another thought is popping in my head is that everybody's talking about efficiency when it comes to AI. Everybody's talking about automation, right? But where is the human element in this?
Okay. This is very interesting question, and let me start in a reverse way.
Sure.
Bringing first human element.
Yes, please.
So you talked about efficiency, you talked about, automation. And this has happened at every stage of, technology transformation in past. And if you'll see that, the key point was to enhance the efficiency and do the automation. But for whom? For what? That's where the human element comes in. Technology by itself, personally for me, has no purpose. The purpose is given to the technology by human beings. If we reverse that journey, that's why I say human beings are why of this, and technology is how about this. If we reverse this journey, then there is something very unpredictable, unbalanced thing what we'll be creating. And that's where there is a lot of discussion which happens that, AI may eliminate people, eliminate jobs. That's not true in that sense. AI may remove the constraint of the task which we feel as a job. Today, when we look at jobs, what happens is we look at the task. We think we are expert in this 4 tasks and that's my job. And every time a disruption happens at task level, and then you feel that your job is gone. So you have to be conscious about the constraints of your task. So AI will remove and eliminate the task constraints. It will not eliminate the job. You'll still need people to work along with the agents. You'll still need people to govern the automation. So it's going to be combined workforce what we'll be building. That's where human element is going to be there. And why operating system? I will come to that. Today, if you'll see, every software is adding AI as a feature. Nothing wrong in that. Everybody is leading with AI as a feature. Nothing wrong in that. But you can't build your initiative based on features. If you minus that product from the equation, there is no AI for you. You will need to have something which will able to help you to build your business processes as a native capability of AI, not featured AI. One of the example, what everybody might have seen is that whenever technology transitions have happened, they need a system to operate at scale.
Correct.
When compute was there, operating system was required. So we are building a little bit ahead of the time, but we are building an operating system which will help enterprises become AI native, not AI feature. And it will give them a control of their own artifacts, their own IP, their own source code, no vendor lock-in, and they will have a choice of building their own AI strategy.
I was about to ask you for brands, big companies, organizations, entrepreneurs out there. So, how and why should they become AI native? I get it. Some of them, everybody wants a piece of this cake, which is known as AI. But when you said becoming AI native, just how seamless do you think this change is going to be, and why, our businesses shifting? Are they shifting towards it? Do you see scope in that, or how are we going about it?
Oh, this is anyway inevitable.
Yeah.
Whether we do it or somebody else does it, unknowingly they are going there. Every customer is eventually going to arrive to the nativeness. One example for this is when cloud happened 2 decades back. We all started deploying our applications as is on the cloud. And the reason was simple. We don't have to have the in-house implementations of infrastructure. Everything was there on the cloud. But when we realized that you can't gain the full performance of your applications on cloud unless and until you leverage the cloud capabilities, that's where industry started building cloud native applications. Similarly, today we all are using AI as a, features or capabilities. But sooner, enterprises will realize that their processes has to be built on AI. In next 6 to 9 months, you will see that everybody will look up to becoming AI native.
Okay. So now this brings me to DSW. Why DSW and why now? You said ahead of time. Do you really think there is something known as ahead of time when it comes to technology? Because if you're not prepared in advance, when the right time comes, as you said, that influx, that moment, when you integrate it, how are you able to capture it if you're not ahead of time, and what is the right time? So why DSW?
Oh, why DSW? Ahead of time is basically only for those people who are not able to identify at that point of time that this change is coming. Actually, practically, there is nothing ahead of time. There are few people who identify these things are going to change or this change is required. But rest of the people may or may not identify. So they feel that this is ahead of time. So when we started DSW, I think we were fortunate to identify this inflection point. And we started this to see that how in coming years, this will able to change the game of AI adoption for enterprises not only in India but
And this you did
globally.
in India.
This we did it in India, and we take pride for that because India has been built a lot of services, capabilities, and credibility across the globe. But as a DSW, we are building something which is going to change the game globally. We take pride to build this product, this operating system in India, and from India, we would be changing the game
An
globally.
operating system, an AI
Yeah.
operating system built in India.
Built in India.
For globe.
For the globe.
Right.
DSW is here for a cause. It's not just another AI company. We are
Okay.
not just building another AI company because the models, the LLMs, whatever you talk, those are commodities. Those are going to become commodities. What is going to stay there is that how you are able to leverage AI and adopt AI for creating efficiency in your business processes, which will in turn touch the human life for betterment. So ultimately, cause is to break the luxury of AI and to build AI in a way that it touches human life for betterment. So that's the DSW.
So you also have more people joining in because we have heard that about the funding. DSW recently received funding for this AI OS, which is not just big for your company but also for India and all the deep tech ecosystem as well, because this is quite a milestone.
Yeah.
Right, when you're creating something which is made in India, which is
Yeah.
made in Bharat, and which is out there for the globe.
Yep.
And how does this personally resonate with you? This milestone.
Okay, funding, it's a good feeling. We get humbled when we get funding. But personally, for me, funding is not something that, to be celebrated as a success. Funding is something when people have believed in your vision. They have started seeing that we are building for future. They are starting to believe that we, as a company, as a people, as a technology, are building and are capable of building towards that. So for us, it's a not only validation, but it's a trust. And I truly believe personally, trust is not something, what you display. It's an architecture actually. So in human life also, if you see that you may be good friend with someone, but trust get built over a time with small things, and it breaks within no time because of the small thing. So we are happy that somebody is funding us, somebody is trusting us. It has been built over a time. It's not an overnight journey. We have not just gone out and raised the funds. So for me personally, it's a more responsibility and accountability because people are now trusting. We don't only have the responsibility of 56 members, but now we have responsibility of the investors also to use that money wisely and build.
So, while talking about brands and talking about global level, then I have to talk about the industries because most of the major industries, such as banking, such as insurance, healthcare, they have very sensitive data. How will DSW ensure the safety, the trust factor when it comes to security of data?
That's where, it's an another perspective of YOS layer. So till this time, technologies were used to process the data probably or the transactions. But with AI, game is changing. It's not just about processing the data. It's about adding intelligence to that. And when we are building this operating system, a very granular component of that is the kernel layer what we have built. And that layer has entire governance as a code. What happens today, you build agents, you build use cases, and then you apply the compliances as a policy. You check through the compliances, you check through the policy, you check for the governance where, applied or not. But what we are doing with OS is that when you build your use cases and agents, it gets checked there itself in the build process. And if it is not applied, it will not execute. So it's a part of kernel. So if it doesn't execute, it has not passed the compliances. So that's the kernel layer. So what we are bringing to the enterprises is a trust as a part of architecture. Because one thing I would like to highlight here is that none of the technology is a challenge. Neither AI nor the tools which are available. Only challenge at this point of time is architecture. Enterprise has to look at the architecture which they can bring it into their core enterprise fabric. If this doesn't become part of that architecture, it will always be at the peripheral. And anything at the peripheral will always be the pilot or POC. Second thing, because we have built it in a way that you can deploy in on premises or on your private cloud, this is not SaaS as a service.
Okay.
This is something which is fully in control of enterprises. Whatever they built on top of this, they own the source code and IP by themselves. They have custody of the source code with them. Whatever infrastructure they want to choose, they have a freedom because this is infrastructure agnostic.
Okay.
Whatever software they want to integrate to this through our AI fabric layer, they can integrate to this. So they can choose the right fit technology, not the technology for the sake of technology. So this becomes their nervous system in the organization.
What skills do you think that the professionals they should start building right now? Like if we have to see 5 years from down the line, organizations are becoming AI native.
Yep.
Then how should the employees skill up to be able to match to that level so that they don't become redundant? As you mentioned, that it's always a job is out there, the work is out there. It's just how we do it. So what skills would you suggest?
This question gets asked a lot of time when we meet a lot of people, that which technology I should learn,
Exactly.
which field I should be in. But I think the question is a little bit different. It's not about which technology or what kind of software I should learn, but it's more about how you should learn to think. This is very important. While people may not understand the impact of it, but it's all about how you think, because today what we are building, we are thinking and building. It's not making machine more intelligent, it's making human more aligned to the purpose how machines will be used. So for people who want to be relevant, and why I'm saying relevant, because today relevancy is a word where at 30s you could be non-relevant to the industry and you could be as good as retired, or even in 80 you could be relevant to the industry. So relevancy is very important, and if you have to be relevant to every changes what is happening today, you will have to work on your foundational knowledge, and those remains always same. If you'll see, if I am doing 5 things today and I am valuable for that, within 6 months one of the thing will get automated or eliminated or generated, and if that is my USP, I'm completely irrelevant to the industry. So I have to keep seeing that what constraint is getting removed, and I have to keep building on top of that. So your job is not your task, but it's actually the constraint what is there in the task, and that gets eliminated by AI. So AI is not eliminating job.
Okay.
It is just eliminating the constraint in your task, and people are not able to ramp up, and that's why they feel their jobs are going away. No, there are new jobs which are going to get created. If you are conscious of that, you will ramp up yourself for that.
I have to ask you one final question. It is going to be slightly personal because you've been so inspiring in all this conversation while we have been talking about technology and AI and building in India, going global and everything. What is that one thing that keeps you grounded?
Oh, one thing I learned in this entire journey is that you can't build anything which is exceptional alone. There is always people around it. There are always mentors. There are your colleagues, your co-founders. So you will always build something which is collaborative way. And this learning I got because of my experience in open source space. If you see today why open source is gaining momentum, not because they are superior technology and others are inferior. No, because it's a collaboration game where a lot of people are coming together and building something very exceptional. So what keeps me grounded today is that, whatever happens, I may be the face, but there are a lot of people who are making it successful. And if I remove those people from the equation, I may fall down. So it's always you have to be grounded in a way that you might be leading something. You might be driving a car. 5 people might be sitting there. Everybody would be a good driver. Just because steering is in your hand, it doesn't mean that they can't drive.
Wow.
So, that keeps me grounded, that it's just about the opportunity, chances, what life has given you. And I'm fortunate life has given me so many chances. There are people who might not have got chance, but they are more capable than me. So that keeps me grounded. Always I think of this and I feel that, I have to do whatever I can do in collaborative way.
That's quite a key thought out here for all the listeners, for all the innovators, young innovators, the entrepreneurs out here to learn this, to take this insight. Sandeep, thank you so much for being with us today. It's been quite an inspirational conversation. We learned so much about not just AI, but of course the most important skill one needs to adapt in this world today, which is constantly evolving with AI.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.